If you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, one of the things I know that you'll be struggling with is work-life balance. That's what we're going to talk about this week. Maybe I've got the answer. So in any circles where you get a bunch of small business owners and entrepreneurs together, there will always be discussions about work-life balance and how they do it. And there'll be equally loads and loads of gurus teaching people how to achieve the work-life balance. I've been running my own businesses now for 24 years. I run a number of businesses, and let me tell you my thoughts on work-life balance. Doesn't exist. Not in my life, anyway. I think it's a bit of a fallacy. Let me explain what I mean. So as a business owner, entrepreneur, maybe you're in the startup phase, maybe you've been running your business for a while, but running a business takes an enormous amount of time, effort, and energy. And you need to be 100% committed if you're going to be successful at that. So what does that mean? Something has to give. And very often it's personal life, family, friends, partners, things like that. I read recently about, was it the top 20 billionaires in the world, richest billionaires in the world, and something like 18 of them were divorced. I'm not surprised. And in fact, since the article was written only a few months ago, the other two have got divorced. One of them was Bill Gates, I think. Why is that, do you think? Well, to be successful in business, you've got to be passionate about it. You've got to throw your heart and soul into it. And it just takes all of your time. You know, there's not a lot of you left. That's the problem. So how do we get around that? Because it's a pretty sad state of affairs, isn't it? I mean, I'm not trying to say to you, just because you're a business owner or entrepreneur, you can't have a life. You can, but I think you need to be realistic about it. Because your work life is so all-consuming, sometimes your real life, you know, your life at home or whatever, has to take a secondary place. Particularly in the early years of starting a business, you just can't divide yourself equally. So I think there are techniques that can help. One is that, you know, those around you have to recognize that, you know, for most business owners, it's going to take up a huge amount of their time and energy. And they just try to be a little bit more sort of understanding. You as the business owner, you have to be understanding of those around you as well, those who are relying on you, those in your family, you know, partners, kids, and so on. You've got to make sure that you give them quality time. It's not necessarily about splitting your time in terms of hours equally. It's about the quality of time that you give them. And so what I do in my businesses, for example, you know, very often I might work 7 days a week. If there's a lot of stuff happening, you know, that's just unfortunate. There's stuff to be done. You know, there's a lot of people rely on me in the business, so, you know, the stuff has to get done. But equally, if I'm not particularly busy 1 week or 1 month, I take time out. And I say this to people in my business as well. You know, you're going to be very busy at times. You know, you're going to be working evenings or weekends and things because, you know, client needs may dictate that. But make sure you balance it and take time out. So one of my guys, for example, I know not to reach him on a Wednesday because he plays golf on a Wednesday. You know, they might be doing things with their kids on particular days. If they're not really busy with client work, I'll say, you know, you're not particularly busy at the moment, you know, take off, go and do something. And so I think that's the way to get the work-life balance. You can't necessarily just compartmentalize and say, you know, I'm going to work these hours, you know, I'm going to do 9 to 5 on the business and then, you know, family and friends comes after that. Or I'm going to do Monday to Friday on the business and, you know, friends and family are at the weekends. It's very hard because business doesn't run like that. You know, the demands of the business don't happen in a consistent way. So what I suggest to people is that you just make sure that when you do have free time, that it's quality time for you, for your family, friends, whoever, and you take time out that way. So how do I do it personally? I travel a lot generally on business. If I'm traveling interstate, I'm based in Sydney in New South Wales. If I'm traveling interstate and if it's for a few days or even an overnighter, very often I'll take my wife with me and we might stay a bit of extra time and we'll go sightseeing and shopping and whatever. If I'm traveling overseas, I will definitely generally take my wife with me. Hey, you're the business owner. You can make these choices. We had a wonderful trip to Taiwan a couple of years ago. I had to go up there and run some training. We took an extra 3 days and went sightseeing around Taiwan. It's great. So whatever your thing is, make sure that you fit blocks of time in for that. It's not necessarily, and I know some people are really good at this. They say, on Mondays I'm going to do this and Tuesdays I'm going to do this. I'm not. So if you're a little bit like me and work can become sort of all-consuming, just make sure that when you're not busy, you kind of get away from whatever it is you're doing, take a bit of time out, get out into nature, go on a holiday or whatever. One of the things that I have done, well, we're sort of coming out of COVID a bit now, hopefully, but pre-COVID, one of the things I used to do was to take a really big chunk of holiday. Because I'm sort of so flat out at work all the time, running a few different businesses, I'd take a month off, 6 weeks off, and just go. And I'd be unplugged. I'd hand over the business to the team, and my wife and I would just take off. We'd go to Europe for 6 weeks or something. And my PA would have my phone number, no one else would. But I'd never get a call. So when you get to your business to the stage where you can take time out, that's a really good way to do it. Just take a big block of time. If you've got kids, school holidays, just go. So I don't know if there is a magic formula for work-life balance. If there is, I would love to hear in the comments below. But in 24 years, I've never managed to work out what it is. And I just accept that I merge the two. That's probably the best way to put it. I don't try to keep work and life separate. I merge them. And so I try to have fun while I'm working as well. So that's my thoughts on work-life balance. What are your thoughts? Have you found the secret? Love to hear in the comments below.